The best way I can describe the Pegasus 39's improvements over its previous versions, I think, is by comparing it to a video game. If you've played any car racing game like Gran Turismo or Forza Horizon, you will know what I mean. If you haven't, then hopefully I explain myself in a way that does make sense. What this shoe is kind of like a transmission upgrade. Those transmission upgrades don't give you a huge noticeable improvement on the stats of the car you're upgrading, but when you're driving the car, it feels a lot better. Does that make sense? Let's get into it. Now, I have had a chance to put some running time in the Pegasus 39, clocking up close to 30 Ks, and these are my thoughts of how the shoe fares as a daily trainer and whether or not it is a substantial improvement over the 37 and 38. Before I get into those thoughts, let's run through the stats because I really haven't spoken about those before. It has an engineered mesh upper and a React midsole that has 2 Zoom Air units, one in the forefoot and another in the heel. I'm not 100% sure of the stack height, but from what I can tell, at least from the literature online, it's about 33mm in the heel and 23mm in the forefoot. What hasn't changed from previous models and what does feel the same is that 10mm drop. So regardless of what the stack is, it has a 10mm drop, and it is a shoe that I am happy to say fits true to size and comfortably true to size. If you have run and enjoyed Pegasus shoes in the past, then you are going to enjoy the Pegasus 39. The Pegasus 39 gives what is effectively the same type of experience. It is a daily trainer that prefers to go faster or prefers more tempo efforts, and that's in large part because of the way the midsole set up. The midsole is React, and I don't find React to be super soft and squishy, not like Zoom X at least. It is soft, but it is more responsive than anything else, and the 2 Zoom Air units, the forefoot Zoom Air unit as well as the heel, really give a little bit of extra pop that helps with propulsion. The 10mm drop is something else that I find also gives the foot a bit more of an aggressive stance and tends to favor those more faster efforts. You're not really getting anything revolutionary in the Pegasus 39 as far as the mechanics go. I think if we strip away some of the improvements that I'll get to in a second, the shoe is effectively the same feeling, really. I mean, if you have a Pegasus 39 or a Pegasus 38 that feels good on foot, there's probably a limited case for upgrading to the Pegasus 39. But if you have had troubles getting your foot comfortable in a Pegasus 37 or 38, like me, and it sounds like a lot of people, the Pegasus 39 adds huge improvements to the way the shoe feels on foot. The engineered mesh upper is a subtle change, but in my opinion, a really big change to this type of shoe. The mesh that was used on the 37 and 38 I felt was really stiff and isn't as flexible as the engineered mesh on the Pegasus 39. The way the Pegasus tends to fit is always a little bit more closer to the foot, and while they completely stuffed up the lasts that the shoes were based on for the 37 and 38, well, the 38 was a lot better, but the 37 was definitely a really big stuff up. The 39 is still a snug-ish fitting shoe that just feels much more comfortable on the foot because it is more forgiving, but because that engineered mesh is also more flexible and has a little bit more give, so it's not as restrictive as the other type of mesh that was used. A couple of other changes to the upper are this. Outside of the mesh, the only real noticeable change from the Pegasus 38 is actually a return feature, I feel, from the Pegasus 37, and that's this flared heel arch. It's just done a lot better than what the Pegasus 37 had. And in the Pegasus 39's case, the heel feels a lot more secure and much more like the Pegasus 38. So if you did have issues with heel slipping, or that feeling of heel slipping that I felt in the Pegasus 37 and a lot of people may have felt, you won't get that feeling in the Pegasus 39, even though it does look like it uses the same design around back. The midsole has been tweaked a little bit, both in design and also in tech specs. The design's changed with the back end not getting that triangular tip that is on nearly every Nike running shoe. Well, not all of them, but a lot of them have that triangular tip. And while in practice I don't feel like it really gives any sort of different feel, from an aesthetic perspective I do prefer the way that they've squared off the back end of the shoe. The Zoom Air unit in the heel is probably the biggest upgrade from a tech perspective in the midsole, and it is subtle but noticeable. I think the shoe definitely benefits from having additional Zoom Air unit in the heel. It just feels a little bit nicer on foot, and I think it sort of helps with versatility overall. I've always said, and I've said it I think twice already in this video, that this shoe is the sort of daily trainer that prefers to go fast. I think with the 37 and the 38 to some extent as well, it was almost a shoe that was moving closer to a tempo day shoe while still having the DNA of a daily trainer. I feel like the inclusion of the Zoom Air unit in the heel has brought it back to being more of a daily trainer that likes those tempo efforts. That might have been a bit of rambling, but hopefully makes sense. The outsole pattern underfoot is also new. It's new, but to be honest with you, it is no better or worse than any other Pegasus shoe I've run in. It still grips really well. It looks like it'll be durable. The rubber in the high abrasion areas look to be quite thick. So I think it is a good outsole, but I just don't think that it has really improved the ride one way or the other. For me and how I like shoes to fit and my personal running style, the Pegasus 39 is a great upgrade. It is my favorite Pegasus shoe since the Pegasus Turbo 2, which is a shoe I love. And I know it's not really part of the core Pegasus range, but it was just a shoe that I loved in so many different ways. The Pegasus 39 is a no-brainer as an upgrade if you are looking to upgrade a previous Pegasus shoe. Having said that, if you do have a 37 or a 38 that is still in good nick and fits you really well, and you get along with the upper, then there's probably less of a reason for you to upgrade. The ride is improved, but probably not improved in a way that would make you just go out and have to buy a pair of these shoes if you've got a fully functional pair of shoes already. Unless, of course, you're obsessed with shoes like I am, and then you just always want to buy a pair of shoes. I think one of the other advantages of the Pegasus 39 is its price. In Australia, this retails at $180, and $180 before any sort of discounting is an amazing price for a shoe that fits as good as the Pegasus 39 does, that looks as good as the Pegasus 39 does, and performs like it does. I'm a fan. I'm interested to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below, but until the next video, laters.